Representative Eskamani, you're recognized in debate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I will admit, members, I try really hard not to think about President Trump. Really hard. And the reality is that I have to respond to his policies. I have to protect my communities from the onslaught of executive orders. And of course, like many, I am seeing headlines about the Epstein files, the fact that President Trump is mentioned more than 1 million times. And that's only what we know from the files. And so I try not to think about him because I find him to be a very polarizing figure that impacts my relationship with people that I care a lot about. Because I try really hard for politics not to interfere with how I treat others, with how I show up in spaces. I actually won 2 precincts in my district that voted for President Trump. And I do think a part of the reason why is I don't let President Trump get in the way of me and my constituents. And I also focus on the issues that we all care about, right? Economic prosperity, affordability, corporate accountability. These are topics that really does transcend political lines. But despite my efforts to not let him impact my day, the reality is that he's a very polarizing figure. And if we look at his track record thus far, from January 6th to impeachment to, of course, legal controversies as well, it's clear to me that this decision is going to have a ripple effect on the local economy of this airport. And I could see it both ways. I can see folks wanting to travel into this airport because they're fans of the president. And I can see folks not wanting to go into the airport for the opposite reason. And so I do think it's really important for us to consider airports as public shared spaces and not alienate a large proportion of the community, not to potentially re-traumatize also victims of sexual assault, and to be really thoughtful to the fact that President Trump is renaming multiple airports. And so at the end of the day, it's not as unique and special as it sounds when there's multiple airports that are potentially going to have the same name. So as much love and respect I have for the bill sponsors, I'm going to have to encourage folks to vote no on this bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.